Welcome, everyone, to Gameful Learning 101. I'm Katrine Becker. This is the continuation of a 10-question series that introduces me and the work I've been doing for about the last 15 years or so. It was originally created for the Game-Based Learning Virtual Summit that was held on November 1st to 3rd, 2023, and hosted by Patrick Felicia. I hope you enjoy it. The next panel question is, in what ways can games, gamification, and simulations be utilized to enhance professional development and training in education, and what challenges need to be addressed in implementing such programs?
So if you look at it from the perspective of what the learner has to do in order to succeed, in a lot of ways, professional development and training isn't really that much different from taking a course in higher ed, right? There's a body of work, a body of skills and knowledge and other things that the students need to be able to master. So we need to decide what mastery looks like. We need to decide how that can be measured and what constitutes good enough. And then with that, we can fit around it a structure that is basically gamification that allows them to work their way through this material in a way that fits them. So using the basic structure of, say, a typical platform game, I can lay out the requirements, I can make it clear what's related to what, like using some sort of a map with some unlockable content, and multiple paths. It really is important that there be more than one way through the material, and you can figure out what that is by actually sitting down and looking at the material itself and determining what is related to what. What do you need to know first? Sometimes there's stuff, there doesn't matter what you know first. You can try this anytime. So like that example would be a module that you could fit in anywhere at any time. And then there are others where you have to do step 1 before you can get to step 2. So that would be something that would have unlockable content. But it should always be possible for anyone to work through as quickly as they want. If they already know the material, then they could do whatever kind of proving of evidence is required. And I'm saying that carefully because I'm trying to avoid saying the word test because I don't like testing. In order to verify that they know this, and then they can move on, right? So that way they can actually spend more time on the things that they are having trouble with, that they're struggling with, and less time on the things that they already know. For example, one of the courses that I used to teach was an introduction to computing. I had set the course up in such a way that allowed them to work through the material at any time, so they could submit anything they wanted to at any point in time. All of the work was available at the very beginning of the course, and this was a course that ran from September to December, and I had, in every year I've taught it, I've had at least one student that was completed everything in the course by October. So clearly they didn't really need me for this at all. They already knew the material, and why should I force them to sit in a lecture and do tests and assignments and other kinds of work at the same pace as everybody else when that's obviously not what they need? So the idea from like a platform game, some people spend a very long time on particular levels. Other people's blast through them, getting them done and move on to the next one, right? So we have to allow students, we should allow students to do this in a similar way. It is more efficient use of both their time and ours, and it is respectful of the student. It acknowledges that they have lives, and then they can then work their course, work the material and the work they have to do around the rest of their lives. When applying this to professional development, it becomes even more important to let the learner, the student, whatever, work through the material at their own pace and to make choices among what's available, because they are people who are already working in whatever field it is that they're doing this training on. And so there will be some parts that they don't need to redo all over and over again, and other parts where they probably need to improve, or where there's new information they need to acquire, or new practices that they need to learn. And so they will be able to jump through the hoops a lot faster for those things that they can already do, and then focus on the things that are new, which in turn will help them to be more invested in the entire process, because it's known that they can zero in on the stuff they need, and they can skip through very quickly the things that they don't.